In a very short few months, we have seen Microsoft shoot to the very top of the leaderboard, felling Apple, who had been in that position for a long time, as they actually fell out of favor. And then we saw Nvidia jump a couple of $1 trillion to pass both. And then Apple has a $300 billion week to regain the lead. So when folks are talking about the potential impact of a self-driving car or a useful humanoid bot, these two have potential far beyond a phone or a chip. So for the scoffers out there, a bunch of very smart people didn't call any of the above 2 years ago. I'll tell you what, I am calling, Elon is calling, Kathy is calling, many, many others can see what's going to be happening next with regard to Tesla. Shocking. Nobody saw Nvidia. Nobody saw Apple coming back. So aren't you glad that you're one of the few who's going to know about Tesla before it goes crazy? So Elon Musk says so much is new in 12.4 that it will take a couple of more point releases. Actually says a few more point releases to smooth it out. Now, I'm not sure whether that means that it might be a little while longer before they release any of the 12.4, or whether he just means the 12.4.2 might be released, and then it might not be as great as you'd like it, and then something else will be released, etc. So I'm not sure. It's unclear as to what that means exactly, except that it's going to take a while to smooth it out. We have from Tesla Chan, TSLACHAN. This has been confirmed on many different levels. I've seen it in the regular print. I've seen it by Sawyer Merritt. Lu Sen, director of the data department at Shanghai Lingang New Area Management Committee, said Nanhui Newtown is pushing to implement a pilot FSD project for 10 Tesla vehicles. According to additional news, if approved, driverless taxis connecting Nanhui, Newtown, and Pudong Airport may be available immediately. And then Tesla will gradually increase its fleet from small to large as usual. Again, that's the entire report. There's got to be a lot more to this story. I'm going to say that this story is that these vehicles will be in a specific area, maybe on specific roads, geofenced in some way. But this is an interesting thing. I guess this could be the very first actual test of actual vehicles in the wild. So we'll see what happens as this story gets more information on it. This is from the New York Times. Leaders at Elon Musk's social media company X told employees this week that 65% of advertisers had returned to the platform since January. This is according to an all-hands meeting obtained by the New York Times, a surreptitious recording that the New York Times received, and that smaller companies now make up the bulk of its revenue. Separately, on X, Linda reported saying that overall advertising revenue is increasing, but she didn't give a specific number on that. So all in all, those things sound good, but that's not really, we're really missing a lot there. So did 65% of the small advertisers return, but some of the big ones haven't returned? The increase in actual revenue since the beginning of the year, is it like 2%, 5%, 20%? So, there's a lot left out of that information as well. This is from Morgan Stanley. They put out a note today, and here's what they were talking about in terms of what happens next after the approval. According to the company's announcement, SEC filings reiterating the news, both CEO Elon's compensation package and the Texas reincorporation passed. A few thoughts. One, he's back. Tesla investors can now expect Elon Musk to remain CEO of the company. We expect he will be present at the second quarter conference call, and that Tesla will be going forward with hosting a robotaxi event on 8/8. Duh. A Delaware court still needs formal legal approval, which is not guaranteed. Reuters reports there will be likely months of litigation to follow in the attempt to overturn Judge Kathleen McCormick's ruling to rescind Tesla's CEO 2018 compensation package. My sense would be that if it takes months, if it takes anything over about 45 days, that it's just more greater indication of the lack of quality of this court. They've known this is coming for weeks. I'm sure that both sides have prepared their briefs. They should be able to bring their briefs in. She should be able to make a decision quickly. So I'm sorry, this would be, there is no justice in Delaware at this point. And, well, we'll see. Maybe she makes a decision next week. Collateral. Even in the event the Delaware court overturns its prior ruling, Mr. Musk will still not have achieved his goal of 25% blocking minority voting power in Tesla. To offset tax impacts and to close the gap to 25%, he'll have to sell some of his shares in order to get that done. We note that Mr. Musk has substantial assets outside of Tesla, maybe up as much as $100 billion, and he could possibly use some of that collateral in subsequent potential transactions. Then don't mess is the next subject. He says, we were taken by surprise by the shareholder approval to reincorporate the company in Texas. There are few precedents we can find of public companies moving their state of incorporation from Delaware to Texas. No kidding. This is a brand new thing. Elon in the lead again. In addition, there are a number of legal /tax/ liability considerations to consider that we will not detail here. Near-term priority. Resetting the cost capacity bar in the auto business. Shareholder votes are important, but they won't get consumers to buy EVs. We still think consensus expectations for the core auto business will come down as the global industry adjusts to a newer, slower growth era. That'll be for a minute, and then it will pick back up again. That's not what they said. That's what I say. Medium-term priority, introducing new products both within the auto business and beyond the auto business that capitalize on Tesla's position in AI, robotics, compute, and renewable energy. After many years, it is time to add some new rows to your Tesla model. Yeah, well, I think that'll be happening. Long-term priority, connect and unify the strategies across Elon Musk's scientific/industrial endeavors, particularly between XAI/X/Tesla, and begin plans for eventual succession. All of those things I agree with 100%. Formalize the arrangement between Tesla and XAI and any arrangements between Tesla and X. Let's get those on the record. How do they work? Let's see if there's some possibility of cross ownership of the various companies. I agree with all of that. I also agree that we need a succession plan. So I agree there with everything they're saying. What's in the book? Elon quoted, we're not just opening a new chapter for Tesla, we're starting a new book. Elon Musk declared to excited investors at last evening's AGM as he discussed the opportunities in autonomy. While we believe his recent period of uncertainty around the leadership of the company has weighed heavily on the stock, we look ahead to the full measure of having Elon Musk's fuller attention and energy behind the company's strategy as he undertakes the biggest metamorphosis in its history. And this comes out of Men's Magazine, an online magazine. I don't know if it has a physical magazine or not. A new survey conducted by McKinsey & Company dove into U.S. drivers' views on the automobile landscape in the country today. In general, more consumers are willing to consider buying an EV for their next car, with 38% of non-EV owners planning on buying a plug-in hybrid or a full-on battery vehicle for their next purchase. This is a slight increase from 37% in their last effort in 2022. Still, that dwarfs, then they make a stupid comment, I won't even repeat it. It was just wrongly written. Even more surprising was the number of EV owners who plan on going back to gas for their next cars. According to McKinsey, 46% of EV drivers in the U.S. said they're unlikely to go back to they are likely to go back to traditional engines in their next vehicle. Across the globe, the biggest concern for consumers was not the cars themselves, but the inadequate public charging infrastructure where they live, which can leave them stranded on the road, especially on long trips. The cost of upkeep and maintenance is also an obstacle that many EV owners struggle to overcome. Of course, none of these things are affecting Tesla drivers, and we've seen other reporting that Tesla drivers have 87% loyalty, have no inclination to go back to gas ever. They might go to another EV because some of the other EVs are interesting. I didn't expect that, the leader of McKinsey's Center for Future Mobility, Philip Kampshoff, told Automotive News of the driver's desire to go back to combustion. I thought once an EV buyer, always an EV buyer. Yeah, if you're Tesla. All right, this is Randy Kirk, by the way. Hit like and subscribe and notify. The main thing we will have at least one program tomorrow during the day. And then, of course, in the evening, as always, we will have the Monday morning show where we talk about all the things that are going to be happening in the future week, all the different reports that are coming out, etc. And that it is tomorrow is Father's Day tomorrow. And so you guys will all be out playing with your kids and your grandkids, right? Yeah, Father's Day ain't Mother's Day, is it? Okay, let me know in the comments below if you expect to be overwhelmed with all the activities and things around Father's Day. This, I just want to say, you know what? I should have brought this up like 4 weeks before Father's Day, so you could have bought one of these for your dad, or recommended to your kids that they get one of these for you. But anyway, there's nothing like after Father's Day money. You can take your money and get this anyway. Remember, it is now customizable. Look below in the information below to find out how you can do a custom version of that with whatever you want on it, any color, whatever you want to do. All right, this is from the, oh, you want to give me a Father's Day present? I just heard somebody say, oh, Father's Day present. That would be join Patreon, join Patreon. Wall Street Silver, he goes by, and his handle is Wall Street and just SILV. I don't know, maybe I guess somebody already had the one with the ER. I don't know. All right. This is Argentina's inflation rate month over month has now fallen 5 months in a row. Javier Milei was sworn in December 10, 2023, just 7 months ago. The inflation rate was 25.5 and is now down to 4.2%. What I want to know, is there any way that we can hire this guy to come up and help the United States just for 5 months? Just, can we borrow him for 5 months? Could he just do it as a sideline? I mean, he's probably brilliant. He could do lots of things like Elon. So could we give him some kind of a side gig to come on down and help us out? Now, you know how he did it, right? Oh yeah, he cut government spending. He put a lot of people on the dole who used to be government employees. What an idea. This is from Global Market Observe, OBSERV. So global MKT, OBSERV. Okay, current market situation. The S&P has hit all-time highs this year and is up 14%. On the other hand, an average small cap stock has seen a 16% gain in 4.5 years. What is going on here? Yes. So I've been talking about the two economies, and the two economies I've been talking about has been the folks that are in the 100,000 and over income bracket and the folks that are in the under 100,000 a year income bracket. Do you know who a lot of those under 100,000 people are? They're small business owners. Yeah. And so it's shocking that the average small business owner makes about $60,000 or $70,000 a year. Now, he might have a working spouse, so that may not be the only income. And so that person might still be over 100,000 a year. But the reality is a lot of those folks are in that category. And when I'm talking about small business, I am talking about your local barbershop and your bike shop, and even lawyers and doctors and chiropractors and stuff that make under $100,000 a year. Yeah, I know. I remember I had 400 clients over the last 16 years, almost all of whom were in that category, that size of business. Many of them made under 100,000 when I started, but many of them made more than that when I finished working with them. Anyway, enough of that. I'm just saying there's two economies. So there's an economy with regard to these tech companies that are just going crazy, but the rest of the S&P is not participating. There's an economy where the S&P is doing X, but where the mid caps are not doing as well and the small caps are doing even less. We've been reporting on that all week. We're in a world of two economies. So when people are asking this question over and over again, why are the people frustrated with the economy growing at, well, 1.3% ain't that great. Okay, let's say that on the average, it's been growing around 2%, 2.5% for the last year. Why aren't the people just thrilled to death? Because only half of the people are taking advantage, are getting to take advantage of the economy being okay. And why is that? Because of massive inflation. And because, in general, this economy is not everybody's taking place. As I mentioned, I've got a mortgage lender. Believe it or not, he's doing fine. I've got a bike shop. This was the first month this year that it's looking okay, but it hasn't been good. The bicycle industry is in real trouble. I've got a guy who does acting classes. He's doing okay, not great, but okay. Depends on what industry you're in, where you are, what part of the country. Not everybody is getting to be part of this great economy. Oh, well, okay, it's not a great economy. Not everybody's getting a chance to be part of this okay economy that appears to be getting worse. We'll see what happens over the next quarter. But for now, I think that's all I've got for you. Earlier today, there was a video that I did. What the heck was that? Oh, no. It was really good, though. And I will put up a card. Oh, Cathie Woods. That's what it was about. It was about Cathie Wood. I went through her great ideas or big ideas book, took out the part about the robotaxis and how she thinks we get there. And I did a video on that. You might want to check that out. I'll put a card right there. So we'll see you again tomorrow a couple of times. Until then, it's been great talking to you.